Let's come to the final section of our class, in which we'll be talking about what will happen if two tests are conducted together and certain miscellaneous stuff which are important for your MCQ questions. So let's start with uh, identifying what happens when two tests are conducted together. Well, there are two ways of doing a test, which is conducting a test in series. That means one test is followed by another test, and conducting a test in parallel, which means both the tests are conducted at the same time. The fundamental about series testing is that a person is said to be positive only and only if he is positive in both the tests. Only then the person is said to be positive in a screening test. Okay, so test A identified that 120 people are positive. After this, remember it series test, two tests are applied, one followed by another. After that, those who are positive in the first test, only they are subjected to test B, which again further reduces the number of positive cases to 80. Now, what about the negatives? Anyone who is negative in any of the test or test B, is said to be negative for the test. So this is our fundamental about a screening test. Two tests are applied, one followed by another. If a person is tested as positive in both the test, only then he is said to be positive. If a person is tested negative in either of the test, then he is said to be negative for the test. So what's happening here? Let's draw the 2 by 2 table. Remember that diseased and non-diseased individuals are fixed. They do not change. Okay. The test results change when you combine two tests. But when you combine two tests, miraculously diseased people will not become non-diseased and non-diseased people will not become diseased people. Okay. That one funda you need to be clear about. What's happening here? After test A, we found that 120 people are tested as positive in the disease. Okay, they are tested as positive. They do not have the disease. I am telling they are tested as positive. Then we are further scrutinizing them to test B, and after the results of test B, we are finally saying that based on the two tests, we identified that 80 people are having the disease. So what's happening here? What's happening here is, let's come to this thing also. What's happening here is, let's say sensitivity. The denominator is fixed. The disease population and non-disease population will not change. What about the numerator, true positive? So, for example, in test A, from 120, if it decreases to 80, so that means true positives are also decreasing here. Okay. So what's happening to sensitivity? Sensitivity is decreasing. What's happening to specificity now? Now this is constant. If from 80 it is increasing to 120, okay, previously test A found that 80 are negative. After subjecting it to test B also, we said that total 120 are negative. So if from 80 it is increasing to 120, that means true negatives also might be increasing somewhere. Otherwise it won't increase to this much. So what's happening to specificity? It is increasing. What about positive predictive value and negative predictive value of the test? What is the denominator of positive predictive value? Those who are positive in the test. Who are the positive in the test here? So what's happening to those who are positive in the test? Just by test A it was 120, but after subjecting them to test B, of the battery of test, it comes to 80. So that those who are positive in the tests are actually decreasing in the denominator. So what does that mean? That means positive predictive value will increase because the denominator is decreasing. What about negative predictive value? Those who are negative in the test, these, what's happening to them? From 80 it is going to 120. So the denominator is increasing. So what will happen to negative predictive value? It will decrease further. So understand or summarize it simply by saying that the positive predictive value and the specificity will increase, the negative predictive value and the sensitivity will decrease. Okay. Remember in the first lecture I told you how to remember sensitivity and specificity, the numerator. I said that in sensitivity P is not there. So the numerator will be true positives. Remember that point? Same thing you apply it in here. In series, P is not there. So who will increase if you do conduct a test in series? Positive predictive value and specificity will increase. So these are the ways to remember. These are just mnemonics or mugging up which you need to know, because obviously your brain will be full fatigue in exam while answering 300 questions, and these questions will come in MCQ questions only. Okay, so remember this thing. So in series, which tests will increase? What will increase? In series there is no P, so PPV and specificity will increase, whereas negative predictive value and sensitivity will decrease. Remember it like this, or if you want to understand the fundamentals, these are the fundamentals. There's another way of finding out what happens to sensitivity when you combine the two tests in series. That is, let's see here. What happens to sensitivity when you combine two tests in series? So for this, a person is tested to be positive if he is positive in the test A and test B. Okay, if you remember the probability distribution for AND, you are writing it as probability of A into probability of B, provided A and B are mutually exclusive. Okay, A and B are mutually exclusive here. So what's there? So what happens to sensitivity? Sensitivity of a combined test is sensitivity of test A and sensitivity of test B. So AND means mathematically you are writing it as into. Okay, so if you know that probability, maximum value of probability is 1, so it will be 0 point something, and you multiply 0 point something into 0 point something else, obviously it will lead to decrease. Okay, obviously it will lead to decrease. This is consistent with our previous result, which is that if you conduct a test in series, the sensitivity will decrease. Now, just a minute. Let's come to specificity. What about specificity? What does it measure? The probability of having a negative test in population who do not have the disease, right? So who will have a negative test? For them, they should be negative in test A or test B. Remember this thing. They should be negative in test A or test B. So how do we write or in probabilistic terms? We write it as A or B. We write it as A plus B. So again 0.x plus 0.y, obviously it will be more than 0.x. So again it is consistent with our previous result that when you combine test in series, the specificity increases. How much does it increase? If a MCQ question asks, then you just add it. How much does a sensitivity become? It will decrease. And how much does it become? You just multiply it. Okay, let's come to another similar combination, which is parallel test. What do we mean by parallel test? Two tests are conducted together at the same time, and here a person is said to be negative if he is negative in both the tests. Opposite of a series. In the series, a person is said to be positive if he is positive in both the tests. But in parallel, a person is said to be negative if he is negative in both the tests. Let's explain it further. You applied two tests together. Now these two tests are together, test A and test B. These tests are applied together. Okay, test A said that 120 people are positive and 100 people are positive in test B. Similarly, 100 people are negative in test B and 80 people are negative in test A. What was our criteria? We said that in parallel testing, a person is negative if he is negative in both, and he is positive if he is positive in either of the test. Okay, opposite of the series. So let's come again here. Test A 120 and 80. Test B was what? 100. So they said that 100 were positive and negative were 100 and 100 were negative. So what was our criteria? If a person is negative, he has to be negative in both the test. So who are negative in both the test? Well, these are the people who are negative in the both the test. So it becomes 60. Now who are positive in either of the test? 120 people here. So these 120 all are positive, and also these 20 who are positive in test A but turned out it is negative in test B. So 820 plus 40, which is 140 people are positive if you do the test, combine the test in parallel. Okay, so understand this fundamental, or you can simply remember our previous mnemonic that in series P is not there, and since P is not there, PPV and specificity will increase. Therefore, in parallel, opposite of this will occur. Since P is there, sensitivity and NPV will increase. Or you can find it out in this way, that what is actually happening here, in parallel, a person is said to be positive if he is tested as positive in either of the test, and a person is said to be negative if he is tested negative in both the test. So actually negative values is decreasing and positive values are increasing. So obviously if the negative values are decreasing, NPV will increase, negative values are decreasing. Positive values are increasing, so PPV will decrease. About sensitivity and specificity, again, if it is increasing, then obviously some true positives are increasing, otherwise it won't increase to this much. So sensitivity increases and specificity decreases. It is consistent with our result. So again, if you want to tell it in mathematical terms, what happens to sensitivity? Sensitivity, what does it detect? True positives. Who is said to be a positive? If he is positive in either of the test, this or this. So this or this is sensitivity. So this or this means you will add. Okay. So sensitivity increases. What about specificity? What does it say? True negatives. Who is a negative? If he is negative in both the test, this and this. So how do you do the probability distribution for this and this? You just multiply it. So it will decrease. So to summarize, I think just remember the mnemonic that series doesn't have P. So PPV and specificity will increase. Parallel has P. So NPV and sensitivity will increase. Just remember this thing. Or if you want to know the fundamentals, I told you the fundamentals. So if two screening tests are applied in series, there will be, so series doesn't have P. So if P is not there, PP will increase and specificity will increase, whereas sensitivity will decrease and NPV will decrease. So let's find the equation which is right here. Increased sensitivity, no, this is not the right option. Increased specificity, yes, and decreased sensitivity, yeah. So this is the right answer to our question. There are certain other things like pre-test and post-test odds. What is the pre-test odd? I already told you what is the pre-test odd. It is same as prevalence. Remember the example of acute rhinitis which I gave you, 300 people have disease out of the 30,000 population. So that is the pre-test probability. What is pre-test odds? The pre-test odds is probability of having a disease to the ratio of probability of having a disease to the probability of not having a disease. So P by 1 minus P. Well, these pre-test odds and post-test odds help us in determining which screening test we should prefer. Okay, how we'll deal with it in the subsequent slides. What about post-test odds? I also told you about the post-test odds. It depends on the test results. The post-test odds is also called, or the post-test probability is also called positive predictive value, and the post-test odds is something like this. The ratio of positive likelihood ratio, what is that? The ratio of two probabilities. Probability that a person found positive in test actually has the disease. 2. The probability that a person found positive in the test does not have the disease. So that is true positive by false positive, which is also written as sensitive minus 1 minus specificity. Now, these things are never asked in theory questions. MCQ related, just remember this point. Okay. Likelihood ratio is equal to, or post-test odds is equal to pre-test odds into likelihood ratio. So if he's telling you the prevalence and if you're asking you what is the post-test odds, just multiply likelihood ratio with the prevalence or the odds and you will get the answer. But remember these points, that if the likelihood ratio is less than 1, okay, if the likelihood ratio is less than 1, person having the disease is less than pre-test probability. So what's that thing? So likelihood ratio, if it is less than 1, then the probability of person having the disease is less than the pre-test probability. So these type of tests are better used for ruling out the disease. Yeah. If the likelihood ratio is 1, the probability of person having the disease is same as the pre-test probability. The test is of no use for us, though it is not detecting anything. Whatever is the probability, so whatever is the prevalence is finding out that much. If the likelihood ratio is more than 1, the probability of a person having the disease is more than that of the pre-test probability. So remember these points. What happens if likelihood ratio is less than 1? What happens if likelihood ratio is equal to 1? What happens if likelihood ratio is more than 1? These are very rare questions. So just by heart these points. That's all you need to know. Positive predictive value or post-test probability is pre-test odds by 1 plus post-test odds. Again, these are complex stuff for me to make you understand, and usually these questions do not even come for MCQ questions. If at all they come, just by heart the formulas, that's all. Then comes a important concept which is called Bayes theorem. Again, it is based on probability distribution. Again, I cannot possibly explain you the theory behind it. Just by heart the formula that positive predictive value is equal to sensitivity into prevalence by sensitivity into prevalence plus 1 minus specificity into 1 minus prevalence. Again, questions are very rare to come, but whatever questions will come about what happens to positive predictive value or negative predictive value if the prevalence is increase or decrease. That you can get from Bayes theorem. From this equation, you can say that positive predictive value is directly proportional to sensitivity. It is directly proportional to prevalence and also specificity. See, if specificity is more, then this thing is becoming less, right? 1 minus specificity. So overall, the denominator is also becoming less. So positive predictive value depends directly upon the sensitivity, specificity, and prevalence. So if prevalence increases, positive predictive value increases. P for prevalence, P for positive predictive value. Come to the negative predictive value. What's here? Negative predictive value directly depends on specificity. However, it indirectly depends on prevalence. Okay. The more is the prevalence, the less is the 1 is minus prevalence. So the less is the numerator. So as the prevalence increases, the negative predictive value decreases. Remember one clear-cut point here. Now this prevalence will determine the positive predictive value or negative predictive value. It will never ever determine the characteristics of the test, and the characteristics of the test are sensitivity and specificity. Sensitivity and specificity are never altered by the prevalence. Remember this point. So let's solve some MCQ questions. The sensitivity of a screening test is quite high. It implies if test comes positive, the patient has the disease. Well, that's what sensitivity means, right? Among the diseased individuals, what is the probability of getting a positive test? So yes, maybe yes. If the test comes negative, the patient does not have the disease. That is not what sensitivity tells. If the disease is prevalent in the population and the test comes positive, the patient is likely to have the disease. Yes, that's also an option. That's a very good option. If the disease is rare in the population and the test comes positive, the patient is likely to have the disease. No, because positive predictive value depends on prevalence. Okay, so sensitivity of a screening test is high. So sensitivity is also high. Sensitivity is high. Prevalence is high. So if the test comes positive, that means he's asking about positive predictive value. So positive predictive value will also be high. So our option, best option for us is option C. Okay, so because it takes into account both these factors of positive predictive value. Remember, positive predictive value dependent on sensitivity, specificity, and prevalence. So first option was only talking about sensitivity, but the second option takes sensitivity and prevalence also into account. So our better option is option C. Let's come to another question. Which of the following statement is or are true? Sensitivity and specificity of a test depends on the prevalence of a disease. No. These are the inherent characteristics of a test and it never depends on prevalence. What does depend on prevalence are positive predictive value and negative predictive value. Positive predictive value represents the diagnostic power of the test. Yes. Positive predictive value depends on the prevalence of the test. Yes. Sensitivity and specificity are characteristics of the test. Yes. Sensitivity is the usefulness of the test. Yes. So remember this thing. Sensitivity is the usefulness of the test and predictive value is the diagnostic power of the test. There is another example of well, again, it rarely comes as a question, the post-test odds and all those things. Remember that thing, the true positive by false positive. Yeah, so I was telling you that it helps us in determining which test to be used. So we want more true positive results and less false positive results. Okay, so any curve which shows this type of line between these two lines, any curve which shows this type of line, that means it gives more number of true positives for less number of false positive. That curve or that test should be preferred. This should not be preferred because here the likelihood ratio is 1, so it doesn't tell you anything. Okay, but here between these two tests, this curve should be preferred. So you can write it as sensitivity by 1 minus specificity or true positive by false positive. So this is receiver operative curve. Just remember, NEET examination, they might give you a curve. So which test should be preferred, or so just say whichever test gives you more amount of sensitivity or more amount of true positivity for less amount of false positive or less amount of 1 minus specificity, that is the curve to be done. So we concluded this important chapter of screening. I do hope that I have covered all the bases and I do hope that I have not made it complicated for you. I have made it simple for you. However, if you do have any inquiries or queries regarding it, you can contact me over this email ID or this WhatsApp number. Looking forward to your communication. Thank you.